Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0993341. It's broadcasting live on Joy 99.7 FM, also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, proudly Ghanaian. Telesol, just a touch. UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, Let's Go, and Mark Auto Parts Ghana, distributors of Isuzu and Chevy vehicles. Mark Auto Parts Ghana with you for the long run. Coming up in this edition, Electoral Commission to proceed with limited registration and referendum for creation of 6 regions despite court action seeking to stop the process.
The service of the writ of summons on us. It was delivered yesterday, but it was not with an application, and therefore it cannot be held to be binding an effective injunction on the Commission.
We'll hear from EC boss Jean Mensah as the Commission prepares to meet the opposition NDC over boycott of recent IPAC meeting.
I believe that we are stakeholders in the process, and I'm not sure that the NDC would like to derail this process.
Also coming up later in sports,
we'll hear the views of some sports analysts on the members selected on the normalization committee. Join me in 24 details.
Also, we'll get to hear from the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition demanding presidential intervention in rancor at the Ghana Audit Service. We have all that and more coming up here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. We'll settle for the details now, and the Electoral Commission says it will go ahead with planned activities towards the creation of the proposed 6 regions despite 2 separate court actions seeking to stop the process. Pressure group Stranek and 2 other individuals have specifically filed for an interlocutory injunction on the entire process leading to the creation of the 6 proposed regions. Electoral Commissioner Jean Mensah at a press briefing a while ago, however, said the suits did not constitute injunctions.
With regards to the suit that the service of the writ of summons on us, it was delivered yesterday, but it was not with an application, and therefore it cannot be held to be binding an effective injunction on the Commission, and that's why we are holding this press conference today and going ahead with the limited registration exercise as planned. I know that it was a gentleman who spoke on the budget. I think this is something that is very dear to our hearts. Over the last few weeks we've had discussions on the cost of elections, and we are very mindful of that, mindful that we are managing the taxpayers' resources, and we'll ensure that we'll use it in the most prudent of manners, and looking at international best practices in other countries across the country. Unfortunately, we are not able to give you a cost. We've just come in, we are reworking some of these things. We have received some money for it, and I'd like to assure you that the Commission is not cash-starved, and therefore the processes will go on as planned, but we are unable for now to let you know the actual cost. I'd like to assure you that we will make this available in due course. We will put it out on our website and inform you about how much it really costs to conduct the referendum.
My colleague Parker Wilson is at the press conference and joins us live on the line. So, Parker, in spite of the suits, the processes will go on. Can you give us the timelines as put out by Madam Jean Mensah?
Well, what she's saying is that on the 16th of September to the 25th of September, that is when they're going to carry out this exercise for individuals who have not registered. Now, she indicated that the requirements, the passports, the voter's ID are all needed, or perhaps if you have them, you can easily register. And if you don't have them, you need 2 individuals who live within these areas or your area in order to certify that indeed you are Ghanaian before you can be given the opportunity to register. And she indicated that the limited registration exercise is for the non-affected areas, not non-affected regions. And thus, she explained by saying the affected areas are the ones that are demanding for the creation of the region. So if you go to the Western region, for example, it's those within the Western North are the ones demanding for the creation of the region. So individuals or residents or Ghanaians within the catchment area are the ones who will be given the opportunity to register. And again, going forward, to vote as far as the referendum is concerned. So these are some of the things she talked about this afternoon. Now, again, I asked her about the NDC's concern because if I remember that the NDC said that, they boycotted the IPAC meeting, citing late invitation. Now, she says she's been meeting with them. In fact, they've been doing some background talk. And the reactions or the NDC has been forthcoming, and she believes that it's been very positive. But then on Monday, she will meet the NDC and finalize with their discussion and address their concerns.
I believe that we indeed received a letter from the NDC outlining their unhappiness with their being saved late for the IPAC meeting that announced the registration exercise, and we've responded to that letter. We are indeed planning a meeting with them to discuss some of these matters in there, and we believe that we'll be able to arrive at a cordial settlement, because I believe that we are stakeholders in the process, and I'm not sure that the NDC would like to derail this process. So we believe strongly that after our discussions, we'll be able to reach an amicable settlement. We have responded to their letter, and we are arranging a meeting with them, and I'm sure that in due course we'll be able to inform you.
Electoral Commissioner Madam Jean Mensah, of course, will get to hear from the NDC on this latest development. Now, away from that, the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition is demanding immediate presidential intervention to deal with the ongoing spat between the Auditor General and the Chairman of the Audit Service. The Auditor General, Daniel Domelovo, has petitioned the President over concerns that the board chairman is interfering in his work. Mr. Domelovo recently carried out another audit of some accounts supervised by the board chair, who is himself a former Auditor General. Member of the coalition and senior research fellow at CDD Ghana, Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante, says the Auditor General needs the support of the state to help deal with corruption.
I think all we have to do is to make sure that he is supported to do his work. This is a very serious issue because it goes to a violation of the Constitution. Even just take a normal auditor. If KPM is auditing you, you can't go and be interfering in KPMG, otherwise they will not sign off. So just the profession, auditing, it needs independence. So to the extent that if you have a board where the board is actually trying to interfere with the functions of the Auditor General, which is to audit public accounts, that is a violation of the Constitution. So that one, for me, there's not even a contestation. The Constitution is very clear. And let me make one point. The Constitution is so clear that the only instance where even somebody can request for additional audits to be made outside of what is set in the Constitution, the President has to do it in consultation with the Council of State and in pursuit of the public interest. So it's very, very specific. So any kinds of actions that seeks to interfere with the functions of the Auditor General.
So you heard there, Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante. Now let's head to the Upper East region, where submerged farmlands, rotten produce and dejected farmers counting their losses with no hope is a situation there after floods destroyed farms along the White Volta Basin. So almost 2 weeks after Burkinabe authorities started spilling excess water from the Bagri Dam, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Sagri Bambangi, who has been on a tour of that region to assess the impact of the floods, has reviewed that it is the worst disaster since the year 2007. Joy News' Upper East correspondent Albert Sori has more.
Acres of farmlands of rice, maize, beans, potatoes, and many other crops have been lost to floods almost 2 weeks after authorities in Burkina Faso started spilling excess water from the Bagre Dam. The worst affected areas include Doba in the Kasna Nankana municipality, Bazua, Kobori, and Yarigu in the Boko West district, Poalugu in the Talense district, and other areas in the Bulsa North and South districts. Some of the farmers in these areas have lost all their farms and have no way of recovering the investments they made at the beginning of the farming season.
This time it went shoulder high and the plants are almost withered. And the fertilizer we have put in is all wasted. And the bonds are all broken, washed away. So we have to rebuild them. So all this is cost.
We lost our rice, granite, maize, so many crops. So in fact, we are really very, very sad.
I did about 30 acres of Wandata, and right now if you go there, the water has been able to travel and taken half of the farm.
Officials of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in the Upper East region have been speaking to Joy News on the extent of devastation since the spilling of excess water from the Bagre Dam started. Here are Regional MOFA Director Francis Eno and Talensi District MOFA Director Lantana Osman.
For the total region, we have rice, an estimated area of 954.4 hectares have been completely destroyed by the flood. And maize is 4,598 hectares. For sorghum, 490.4 hectares too. And the millet, 212 hectares. Granite is 791. Number of communities that have been affected by this flood in the 9 districts that we are talking of. 65 communities.
You see the deficit that we are getting. And this is not like something will be recovered. Imagine maize fields being submerged for 2 weeks.
It is unclear for now if the Bagre Dam is still being spilled, but rainfalls have generally increased in the northern parts of Ghana in the last 2 weeks, further compounding the problem of floods and heightening fears that there could be food shortages in the coming year due to the destruction caused by the floods. For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Bolgatanga.
You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now listen. Sounds from the funeral ceremony of renowned poet Professor Atukwe Okai. The renowned Ghanaian poet, cultural activist and academic is acknowledged to have been the first real performance poet to emerge from Africa. His performances on radio and television include an acclaimed 1975 appearance at the Poetry International at Queen Elizabeth Hall in London. Professor Okai died at age 77 and was survived by a wife and 5 daughters. His wife rendered this poetic tribute.
My dear Atukwe, you have indeed fought the good fight with all your might. You led a full life, a genius, legendary figure. You have left your footprints in the sands of time. Posterity will continue to blow your horn. Let all the horn blowers of Gambaga blow your horn. Let all the soothsayers of Esiama suit your sorrows. Let the railways of Agbuglushi toot your horn. All the fellows of Accra High School say Suri. In Moscow, they are painting the square red. True to Kwabenya, all the squirrels are saying Ayeko. Up the hills of Legon, the tall mahogany trees are bowing to you. All the phantom from of African cities are booming, asking, where is the master drummer? The winds at Windy Bay, Winneba are whining, where is Atukwe? The Bintim Obonu drummers of Asere, Bukom, Jamestown are wailing, where is our son? Atukwe, Atukwe, Atukwe. This time you really took the way into the realm of the aurora. Fare thee well, my buddy. Fare thee well, my true friend. I will miss your tete-a-tetes. I will miss you. Waya Hejo Lemning, your loving wife, Ako. Thank you.
Wife of Professor Atukwe Okai. At that funeral service underway, we are told that President Akufo-Addo and various dignitaries from across the continent are at the event underway at the Accra International Conference Center. We'll get more when my colleague Nancy Emefa-Dradosi joins us here on the Midday News. In the meantime, let's head to the northern regional capital, Tamale, where my colleague Martina Bugri have been following comments made by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, on the depression of the Ghanaian city. She joins us on the line. Martina, bring us up to speed on what Dr. Baumia has been saying about the Ghanaian cedi. Hello, Martina. Hello, Martina.
Hello.
Martina, if you can hear me, I'm asking you to bring us up to speed on comments made by Dr. Baumia on the Ghanaian cedi.
He's been talking at the launch of the Social Entrepreneurship Initiative for senior high schools in the country. He says that comparatively, the cedi is performing better than previous government. And he says that that is because they have had their fundamental rights. He says the current depreciation against the dollar is not because Ghana is not doing well. He mentions other countries like Argentina, India, South Africa, among others, where he says that they are even at higher rates than Ghana. He says that with what they are putting in place in the near future, the country will have a better cedi rate to the dollar compared to previous governments.
But did he mention anything about the economic fundamentals? Because that's what critics have been asking him about. Is it the same situation? Did he say what is actually the cause of the depression of the Ghanaian cedi?
He says that with the exchange rate, the Ghana debt to GDP, among others, he says these are key fundamental issues that you must get right to ensure that the economy, you don't have these issues. And they have all those put in place, and they are in the right context. He believes that in the next 2-3 years, we will have a better economy.
Martina Bugrida, following Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, of course, will bring you more from that speech in our subsequent bulletins. We head to the eastern regional capital of Koforidua now, where many homes have been flooded following rains there. Maxwell Kudako has been following the Eastern Regional Technical Committee of the National Disaster Management Organization, and they are asking owners of buildings and other structures on waterways to prepare and vacate in the immediate term or face demolition. Maxwell Kudako joins us on the line. Maxwell, what more can you report?
Well, the technical committee are saying that one of the major causes of the annual flooding has to do with people building indiscriminately, and also has to do with poor drainage system. So this morning, the team went around to assess the situation. They are directing that all structures on waterway should be pulled down in the immediate term, or if you like, government will take the initiative and demolish all the structure. I have with me the regional director of NADBO, Mr. Apia Kodia. Chief, what are we doing beyond this?
Yes, good afternoon to your listeners. And the team is on we are going around the municipalities, both the New Gabin North and the New Gabin South municipalities, to actually assess the extent of damage so far as yesterday's torrential rains are concerned. And what we are going to do as the immediate measure is to ensure that we will demolish all the buildings along the waterway.
Do we have timelines for this?
No, we are going to start in the next 1 week. In the next 1 week, we should be able to start. We will demolish. We have asked the occupants of those places to actually vacate those places. And if you don't do that, by next week, we should be able to start demolition exercise. We are liaising. As we are here, we are liaising with the Regional Coordinating Council. We are liaising with the two municipalities. The Chief Executive of the New Gabin North municipality is here.
There's one issue of poor drainage system. Beyond this, what are we doing? Engineering, engineering.
Yes. The drainage system, we have the short-term measure, that's the immediate measure, and then we have the long-term measure.
What is
the short-term measure is to ensure that we'll be able to do the filtering of all the major drainage in the municipality. In the long run, there is the need to do re-engineering by expanding the drainage and those things.
So we heard from the regional director for the NADBO in the Eastern region, Mr. Kwame Piakodia, but most of these occupants of these structures who have been asked to vacate are also pleading that the authorities give them enough time to prepare, and then also they are asking that the authorities support them at least to acquire some land before they can also start building other property somewhere to, if you like, to cohabit in those facilities. So it is a call. They are also telling that government support them to move from where they are to a different place.
Maxwell Kudako, the Eastern Regional Correspondent. This is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a quick break. Later in the bulletin, the story of Shadows, the young man filling buses with passengers at bus stops for pittance.
There's no job in the country, so if you go this job, they go find job, they say certificate, wait, no get that one. Solely, I just come here to make alala.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move.
To take that step.
The time is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302 230 638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
That is a sweet sound of excellence. That is a sound from Mac. Yes, Mac Ghana is the #1 distributor of the world's best quality Isuzu and Chevrolet vehicles in Ghana. Isuzu trucks from 1.5 tons to heavy-duty vehicles. Isuzu buses from 15 to 33 seaters, double and single cabin pickup, available in automatic and manual transmissions. We also stock a wide range of Chevy cars from SUVs, sedans, and small cars, fully loaded with exquisite specifications. All our range of vehicles stand out due to its high fuel efficiency, safety, luxury, spacious interior, world-class delivery, and after-sales servicing. What's more, we offer flexible payment terms to meet your pockets. Mark Ghana is a sole distributor for Isuzu trucks and pickups, as well as all range of Chevrolet cars in Ghana. Call us on 0302-813-919 in Accra or 0242-039-550 in Kumasi. Visit our website markghana.com. Mark Ghana, with you for the long run.
You're welcome back to the Midday News. Let's do some sports now with Benedict Owusu.
Hi, MFI. Very good afternoon to you. Now, lots of reactions have come in following the announcement of the Normalization Committee. Dr. Kofi Amwa is the head, Madame Lucy Quist is the vice chairman, and lawyer Duya Adontin and Madame Na Odofole Norte make up the committee, which was announced yesterday. Now, it was stated at the presser yesterday that FIFA, CAF and government are still looking at other people to join the already mentioned for some sports analyst wants to see an ex-footballer make the committee.
Not very pleased about it. There was no representation from the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana. The game is about the football, and it's about the footballer. And we go to the stadium to watch footballers. So primarily, the central figure in all of this is missing. It's misrepresented. It's not represented at all. And so if we're doing reforms and still the players are an afterthought or it's not even a thought on the minds of the committee, then who are they doing this for?
If you look at the list, perhaps you have to wait a little longer, apart from Dr. Kofi Amwa, who is well-versed and well-known to have performed some form of function as far as football is concerned. You do recall that he was a member of the local organizing, he was the chairman of the local organizing committee for CAN 2008. There's little known about Lucy Quest, Na Adole, and of course, Duya Adontin. I'm not too sure. I'm sure they are great women and men in their own right at their respective fields. Clearly, I'm not too sure about their capacity with regards to football.
What views of some sports analysts on the Normalization Committee? Well, what the weekend is going to be? All the European domestic leagues are back after the international break in the English Premier League. The top lineup this weekend will be the Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur game. And can Barca continue their fine start to the season with Cristiano Ronaldo still in search of his first Serie A goal for Juventus as his side will play host to Sassuolo this weekend. Also, in America, the biggest fight of the year is happening tomorrow in Las Vegas, where Triple G Gennady Golovkin comes face-to-face with Saul Canelo Alvarez. And the first fight back in September was controversially scored a draw. So tomorrow offers an opportunity for us to see who is who. Yeah.
Will you be there? Thank you very much, Benedict. So now, have you ever walked through a trotro station or bus stop and been literally mobbed by a number of young men, each trying to help or almost shove you into a waiting minibus? People call them shadows. Their job is to try hard and get as many buses as possible filled with passengers, and they get paid a pittance for that. Joy News' Selinam Ampo tells the story of 24-year-old Edward Ganyo, a shadow. Here's a report read to you.
A tough life on the streets of Accra for 24-year-old Edward Ganyo. The struggle for survival begins here at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange bus stop. His job is basically to assist the driver's mate to call for passengers. Without good education and skills, the prospect of getting a good job is virtually non-existent. From morning till late evening daily, he joins others to compete out here in the sun, running, jostling, and directing passengers into a trotro, all for some few coins.
When I was young, my parents passed away. My uncle took me and sent me to school. After junior high school, he said he could no longer further my education. I decided to stay around and do odd jobs for some little money to survive. One day, I was just walking around and a man asked me to help get passengers into the vehicles in exchange for some money to get something to eat.
Edward is part of a large number of youth in Ghana without employment. The Labour Force Survey report that more than 1.2 million persons from 15 years and older are estimated to be unemployed.
You know, there's no job in the country, so if you go this job, you go find job, they say certificate, wait, no get that one. Solely, I just come here to make alala.
Drivers, however, are the biggest beneficiaries of the sweat of these boys who call for passengers. When the shadow boys, as they are called, are around, the drivers are excited.
As a driver, do they help your work?
Yes, they help our work because maybe the mate can't shadow all the time, but they get time and then they know the people over there so that they will help us to load, so that they need to, because of lack of employment, so we give them so that they get something to eat.
Poverty is a harsh reality of life. Most of these young people want to work. But when you live in a country where the window of employment keeps shrinking by the day, with many people losing their jobs in the midst of banks collapsing, some are forced to find work and get paid for anything in the shadow of employment. Selinam Ampo's report for Joy News.
You're still listening to the Midday News, and it's time now to check out what's trending. I know you don't pick trotro, so you don't encounter shadow men, you do.
I don't pick trotro. Me? I pick trotro. No, Come on.
I don't think you do. But what's trending on social media, man?
People are still talking about Kofi Annan on Twitter, and at Tambe Enoch 4 says, may his work never be forgotten. He did a wonderful job here on earth, and it's time for him to go and rest. May his soul rest in peace. And at Philip Akoy says, good name is better than everything. I pray we all here on earth fights for the good name like Mr. Kofi Annan. And at Victoria J13 says, Africa is gradually losing great leaders who had served the continent and the world wholeheartedly. May his soul rest in peace.
Indeed. Thank you, Maps, for what's trending on social media. That's it for the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top stories in this bulletin: Electoral Commission to proceed with limited registration and referendum for creation of 6 regions despite court action seeking to stop the process. We also heard from EC boss Jean Mensah as the Commission prepares to meet the opposition NDC over boycott of recent IPAC meeting. Also, the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition demands immediate presidential intervention to deal with the ongoing spat between the Auditor General and the chairman of the Audit Service. I am MFA Apau. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com.